One of the most distinguished panels ever assembled to look at the issue of hockey violence has issued a controversial finding. The doctors, players, and coaches are recommending an end to fighting. Period. Here's Francis Salvaggio.
And they both take off their helmets.
Fighting has a long history in the game of hockey. Its future, though, may be very much in jeopardy.
I don't think it's going to happen overnight, but I think for the first time we can see it on the horizon.
Bruce Dobigan is a hockey writer. Like many in the hockey world, he watched closely as medical and sports experts met last month in London, Ontario, to discuss ways of reducing concussions on the ice.
We have to address it as a group, and that means we all have to take responsibility for this injury.
The summit took place on the heels of hockey's latest tragedy. Don Sanderson died as the result of a fight during a game in Brantford, Ontario in December. His helmet fell off and he hit his head on the ice. Today, the panel released its recommendations, and they include banning fighting in all levels of hockey, including the NHL, something that doesn't sit well with some of the league's hired fists.
And I think it's a very slippery slope that, you start banning a tradition like that, an integral part of the game like that, and then, where does it go from there?
The thought of fighting getting banned, I think that's unheard of.
The recommendation is also not popular among some of the game's veteran fans.
When I was 19, 20 years old, I was a fighter. Not anymore. But that's the way it was.
Well, I guess I just played with it all my life, and I think it's still part of the game.
The game is changing, though. Hockey Canada is reviewing the panel's recommendations, and the Ontario Hockey League has already changed some of its rules to penalize players who take their helmets off during fights or purposely targeting an opponent's head.
It indicates the incremental thing that I'm talking about, how we're going to get closer. It's not going to happen overnight, but you're starting to see people at every level of hockey saying, let's re-examine this.
Oh, and another. He's down.
The NHL may not be on board just yet, but this fight is far from over. Francis